212 Olympia Prejudging just wrapping up alongside Chris Aceto. I'm Sadiq Faruqi. Chris, let's jump right down to the final three. Kamal Elgargni, Derek Lunsford, and the defending champion Shaun Clarida. As usual, Steve Weinberger working them. And at the very end, you had Kamal Elgargni finish off in the middle.
Yeah, you know, they lined him up the last three, and I think everyone in the venue had those three, the three once they came out, but you didn't know how they'd match up against each other because there's just extremes in difference in terms of structure, muscle maturity, detail, and pop. But they lined them up for the final call-out, those three in numerical order, and they ended up with Kamal, which is not numerical order, in the center, which is, you know, traditionally, that's probably who's leading coming out of prejudging.
Let's go one by one. To me, the big revelation of this prejudging was Derek Lunsford. We talked about some of the progress that he has made working with Hani Rambod, and he certainly made an impact in prejudging today.
He's absolutely at his best. The plus is his, in the lineup by himself, when he lines up with everyone, you say game over, he's going to win. He's got the best structure in the front double bicep. And you think, and he's got a phenomenal back double bicep. All the poses are good. There's no weaknesses. But when he stands next to Clarida and he stands next to Kamal, you have to sit up and say the level of muscle maturity is still, he has no water, he has no body fat, but the conditioning, which is absolutely there, is not there to the extent that it's there with those guys because of they have a different level of density to their muscle and probably years behind him training, I think, than Derek. So I think that's why Derek was like moved off out of the. I think that's the only knock against Derek. I mean, we're talking, you know, fine line here.
Let's talk about the defending champion Shaun Clarida. Last year we were blown away by just the pound-for-pound musculature that he packs on his frame. What did you make of him prejudging?
I was far more impressed this year than last year. Actually, he was phenomenal. When he first came out, unlike Lunsford, when Lunsford first came out, I said, okay, wow. And Clarida in the lineup, you say, he's not big enough. But that is thrown out the window the minute he gets compared to people who are, quote, bigger than him. I thought he was phenomenal from every aspect in terms of detail, muscle maturity is there, you know, bells and whistles in terms of certain shots that really pop. The back double has a lot of like unique roundness to it. Really, you can't pick him apart really anywhere. And he's better than last year, so it's hard to like even finally criticize him. You know, he's that good.
Kamal Elgarny, 50 years old now, 2 years removed from his 2019 212 Olympia title. As we mentioned, finishing off in the middle. What did you make of what he brought?
Kamal loses the front double bicep to those guys. Everything else, it's just the sum of the parts. Balanced on every shot. He's a lot rounder than people think and a lot bigger than people think on all the shots when he's in them. Tremendous detail through the quads, cross-striated quads, super detailed back. He's got like the, you know, he doesn't have Derek's unbelievable width, but he's got a lot of width, especially on the front lat spread, which is surprising. And he's got the muscle maturity and detail that Clarida has. So, you know, just a lot of detail, separation, maturity, super tight waistline. It's hard to pick him apart like Clarida. So it wasn't a surprise, really. And even on the most muscular, when he closes that off, he's way bigger and more detailed than you think. And I think on the most muscular, I clearly have him beating Lunsford, which is, you know, he's the biggest, quote, the biggest guy on stage.
Right.
So I think anything can happen. I think it's not done, just like last year. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a point separating all three of them.
Yeah.
I don't think anything's been written just like last year. I mean, we left prejudging last year saying this is really close. We found out it was close. Point in the prejudging, flip-flop point at night. This could go any which way.
All right, Chris, I know you got to go coach up your clients right now, so we're going to bring in John Hansen now. John, you saw at the end, again, it was Shaun Clarida, Derek Lunsford, who really seemed to be the revelation of the 212 Olympia prejudging, and then Kamal Elgargni finishing off in the middle. What did you make of it?
I thought Derek brought it. We've been waiting to see this for a couple years now. We know he's got the beautiful structure. He's got the great muscle mass. He always seems to lose it, you know, when he has to make the weight for 212. This year he brought it. He had enough fullness, he had enough size, and he had incredible detail and conditioning, and I think he's going to take it. To me, it looked like he had it all the way.
How do you score this? Because last year, when you think back to prejudging, it was a point difference between Kamal and Shaun. This year, razor thin between three competitors, really.
Yeah.
And again, traditionally, when you leave prejudging with a competitor in the middle, you assume he's in the lead. I'm not sure. How did you rate it?
I thought Derek had it. It might be close on the judges' scorecards. I thought Shaun looked amazing. He looked just like he did last year, maybe even a little bit better. But last year, I thought Shaun outmuscled Kamal.
Right.
And everybody was shocked because nobody expected that from Shaun. I thought we had Shaun last year like third or fourth. Everybody was like kind of predicting he was going to be there. He came in with so much added muscle, he just outmuscled Kamal. And Kamal, I didn't think was as sharp as he was the year before when he won. This year, I thought Kamal looked amazing again. Yeah. Shaun came in maybe even a little bit bigger, and he came in condition. But when you got Derek, he's just got that amazing structure, and they can't beat that. You know, that's just God-given, and Derek has that. The problem with Derek was over the last couple of years when he tried to make that weight, he's just so big in the offseason. When he came down, he was just too flat, and he had that soggy-looking appearance kind of, you know, he wasn't hard, he wasn't sharp. So even though he was cut and he was ripped, he was too flat for it to come out. This year, whatever he did, probably working with Hani, you know, his new coach, he was able to bring that fullness, even making that weight, he was able to bring that fullness and have that crispness. And with that structure, I just think he's going to take it.
Well, let's look ahead to finals tonight, because really, if you look over the course of the last 3 years, the night show is where Derek Lunsford in 2019, where he came in behind in prejudging, he came in absolutely different and really pushed Kamal before finishing up the runner-up place. Last year, it seemed as if Shaun Clarida and Kamal, I mean, that really might have been the best 212 night show we've had in quite some time. Both competitors seem to get stronger and stronger and stronger. But last year we knew it was a two-man race. How do you see things playing out here now, going in knowing the strengths of each three competitors in the finals?
Well, considering Shaun is the repeat winner, he's coming back as a champ, I'm sure it is going to be close between him and Derek. You know, it's hard to unseat the champ. But we have had two different winners in the last couple of years, and we might have three tonight. So I think Derek's going to come in maybe even a little fuller, which would be even better. And I think he's going to take it. I think he's going to beat Shaun. It's going to be an upset. It's too bad for Shaun because, you know, he came back even better. But I just think he's going to get beat because of the better structure of Derek.
So then let me ask you on that note, if we are to look ahead and if Derek is to win, there's been so much talk of him potentially moving over to the Open. Where do you see him as a better fit?
I think he'll go right to the Open. I think he'll win this and then he'll go right to the Open, which he should. You know, and now that he's got a better coach with Hani, I think it's going to make all the difference in the world.
What is it about his physique that makes you think he has more of a home in the Open?
Well, he's got the structure, you know, and he's not super short. So we've seen him in the off season where he's like 240 hard, you know, with striations in his glutes. So I can imagine if this guy gets really big and lets it all go, I can imagine what he could bring. And he's got the conditioning. He's just got that incredible shape. His front double and his rear double are probably the best in the sport, or right up there, even in the Open. So I think when he transitions to the Open, he's going to be a force right off the bat. Probably as soon as his first show.
Let's get a quick thought on who's fighting for that fourth and that fifth spot. You had in the mix Ahmad Ashkanani, Nathan Epler, who seems to really get stronger in his 212 Olympia debut as prejudging progressed, and then Angel Calderon finishing off sort of in the middle for that 3, 4, 5 placing.
Yeah, it seemed like Ashkanani, they had him in fourth because they had him in the first call out, and then they brought him up in the second call out and they put him in the middle. But he seemed to fade. They brought those guys back like 3 times, and he seemed to fade, and they were moving him out more and more. So, yeah, I think Calderon's going to be right up there. Nathan Epler moved up. He didn't get called out at first for that second call out. Then they did call him up, and his conditioning's right on. He just needs more size in his upper body, but he's got really good legs, incredible glutes, and then he was moving in closer, so he might be 5th, you know. So it looks like Ashkanani might be 6th.
We'll see what goes down tonight. 212 Olympia finals. It should be an exciting one. It looks to be a three-man race. Shaun Clarida, Kamal Elgargni, and Derek Lunsford, who is super impressive here in prejudging. For John Hansen and Chris Aceto, I'm Sadiq Faruqi. Keep it locked to RxMuscle.com.